So moving on, storms are probably the easiest and most common link we have to climate change, especially hurricanes. So I'm not going to go too much into that on the pod today, but I will say that the US recorded a record 500-mile long lightning bolt, which is just insane. I didn't know that that was a thing. That's likely to be broken again because of the extreme conditions that need to happen for those bolts to happen. That's more common now. A tornado damaged a Pfizer plant that could result in drug shortages. A dam in Norway burst open due to days of heavy rain that triggered landslides and flooding. And you can only imagine that that's going to become more common. As I was just saying, infrastructure wasn't designed for climate change. And I'll also add that California has been experiencing powerful storms in the mountains and desert areas, which increases the risk of fire. And that brings us to our next disaster event, wildfires. California, basically the entire west coast of this country, isn't just hot, it's on fire. Thousands of acres having or are burning. The York fire alone scorched 94,000 acres. That's 150 square miles, including much of the iconic Joshua trees in the Mojave Desert. This crisis has reached such a point, the blazes have become so fierce that we now have fire whirls, which are fire tornadoes. Fire nados. This isn't some sci-fi movie. This is an additional challenge that firefighters have to face. Funnels of rotating fireballs. And consider them the mascot of climate change and possibly the last thing you'll see on this earth if we don't get things under control.
Dun, dun, dun.
So it's
Can
not
you
just
describe
California.
how tall do they get? Do you know?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't say exactly how big because I'm sure it's relatively new and they're not taking measurements, but
Okay.
they're giant fireballs that are going stretching into the sky. Do they touch the clouds above? I don't know. But what's happening is there's these high winds, and
Yeah.
the high winds are so sustained now that
Mm.
it's just whipping up the fire. And I guess fires themselves, if you've ever been on a campfire or you have a fireplace, it sucks in oxygen. You'll see around your campfires, there's usually little, especially if it's like a fire pit, there's holes in the side to suck the oxygen in. And if you have a fireplace in your house, you can open usually a wood draft and your fire will get more intense. That's what's
Yeah.
happening. The fires are so big and they're around for so long. These wildfires, they're sucking all this oxygen in and it's creating a vortex and it spins up. And it has to get that intense.
That's a crazy. I mean, I can't even imagine seeing such a thing. That just seems like such a crazy event to witness. I mean, it's that. I mean, that. I think I used the term already, hell on earth, but I think I should have saved it because that, to me, seeing a fire tornado. I mean, my God, that's like some
And
wrath of God crap right there. You
I
know?
imagine it just comes up too, that it just whips up, that it's not this thing that like forms over an hour. I imagine it's pretty quick.
Yeah. It also
So it,
sounds like a magic card for any of my nerds out there. It's definitely that's the image I could see that easily on a magic card. In fact, I bet you there is a magic card called Fire Tornado. I bet you it's part of the red deck. Anyway, nerds get at me with that one.
deep cut, deep cut.